Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we're going to be reviewing my Tudor Glamour Date-Day, which is the watch that I bought for myself as a present on my 18th birthday. I've had the watch now for 2 months and my birthday was actually the 6th of August. So I actually purchased this watch about 2 months before my birthday. And that's just because I found it at a nice dealer here in Sweden, and pretty much every other AD here in Sweden didn't have this watch in stock. So I wanted to get a hold of it as soon as possible because this is a fantastic watch. So it's called the Glamour, which is, in my opinion, a stupid name for a watch. It makes it sound a bit fashion watchy. And I think the people at Tudor kind of noticed that, because there is no glamour text anywhere to be found on this watch. Not on the dial, not on the case back, nowhere. Which is great because it would have been pretty weird to have it say glamour here on the dial. So yeah, there's that. So this model, in my opinion, is one of Tudor's most kind of underrated models in their current collection. So today, after 2 months of wearing it, I'm going to be reviewing the watch for you. But first, let me show you what I am wearing today. Today I am wearing my go-to diving watch. This is the Seiko SBDC 065 Great Blue Hole Special Edition. I have reviewed this watch before, so if you are interested in checking out some of those videos, please feel free to go to my channel and just search for SBDC 065. So let's get into the diameter or the dimensions of this Tudor Glamour Date-Day. It's a modern size, but it is still somewhat conservative. So in terms of the diameter of the watch, it's 39, which I believe is a great size, especially for a guy like me who has an above average sized wrist at about 19.5 centimeters. This size is perfect for an everyday piece. It is rather thin, the watch as well, which is great, at just 10.7 millimeters, which means it's actually thinner than the current Datejust models in the Rolex collection, so that's a nice fact. In terms of the lug-to-lug distance right here, we've got a lug-to-lug of 46.7. So those are the dimensions of this watch. It has rather modern dimensions, but as I said before, it's kind of modestly sized. It's not oversized. The only problem here in terms of the dimensions, in my opinion, is the lug width. And in this case, the lug width of the watch is a pretty annoying 21 millimeters, which means you're gonna have a much harder time to find aftermarket straps for this watch. We have got a simple lacquered black dial, which looks fantastic. We have applied indices, which are not loomed, by the way, although the hands, which are very simple but beautiful, they are loomed. Not fantastically so, I do have to say. The loom on this watch is nothing special whatsoever, but that's not really why you buy this watch anyway. It's not a sports watch per se, it's more of an everyday piece that you can just wear in most different situations, which is fantastic. A very nice detail on the dial here is the counterbalance of the seconds hand. As you can see, it kind of looks like the eye of a needle, which is a very cool look, I do have to say. Looks great. We have a date function here at 3 o'clock, and of course we have the day indicator here at 12. I believe the date and the day complications are of a great size. They're not too big, they're not too small, and they're not under some sort of cyclops, which I definitely do prefer. We have a stepped case bezel here, as you can see, entirely polished. Looks fantastic, although it is a scratch magnet. In terms of the crystal here, we of course have sapphire crystal, and as per usual with Rolex and Tudor, this sapphire crystal does not feature any sort of anti-reflective coating, which I thought was going to be a bit annoying at first, but after a few weeks of using this watch, I didn't even notice it anymore. So yes, not a big problem. We have got the smiley face on the rotor self-winding text here, which I think looks fantastic. It's a nice Tudor trait and it gives the watch some character, which is great to see. The case itself is entirely polished, as you can see. So we don't have any brushed features on this case whatsoever, except of course for the case back here, which is the usual Rolex and Tudor standard here. Nothing too special, just some text, Tudor, Geneva, Swiss, and the Tudor emblems. So yeah, nothing too special going on here, except for the fact that it's brushed, whereas the entirety of the case otherwise is polished. As you can see, the lugs, they kind of extend quite a bit far into the case and gives you this nice, almost like a cutoff point here, which I haven't seen before. And I think it looks great. Very interesting design. In terms of the crown here, it's an unguarded crown, of course. It is a screw-down crown. It features a very, very nice action in terms of screwing and unscrewing the crown. It's fantastic. In terms of winding the watch, it's nothing too special, and that's because this watch is featuring an ETA movement, so it's kind of, not very smooth, but the winding works. So if you pull the crown out to the first position and you turn the crown clockwise, you will change the date, as you can see there. And if you turn the crown anti-clockwise, you will change the day. So very simple, quick set date and day. And of course, if you pull the crown out to the furthermost position, the seconds hand will stop. That's called hacking seconds, which makes it very easy to synchronize the watch to some sort of atomic time. And then screwing the crown back in is very smooth and the thread is fantastic. The crown is very easy to operate. It is nicely proportioned, not too big, not too small, and of course features the Tudor shield there on the side. The bracelet is a very, very interesting piece. It is kind of unlike any other Tudor bracelet in their current collection. It reminds me a bit of some of Breitling's bracelets, which I like a lot. So you have brushed sides here with the 3 center links being entirely polished. The sides are of course also polished. And the bracelet is sized with screws, which makes it very, very easy to adjust this bracelet. The inside of the bracelet, as you can see, is brushed. And there are a few gaps there and holes to vent the wrist and make sure your hair doesn't get stuck. It is a very, very comfortable bracelet on the wrist. It is extremely, it follows with every move of your wrist, and it is very, very comfortable on the wrist. The clasp is also really, really great. It's kind of a hidden clasp, so when the watch clasp is closed, the only thing you notice really is the safety fold-over piece here, which of course, as per Tudor usual fashion, they have incorporated their Tudor shield into the clasp. And thanks to Tudor's kind of ceramic pieces here on the sides of the clasp where these pieces latch on, the bracelet feels incredibly crisp to operate, and it will remain this crisp for a very, very long time. So overall, a fantastic bracelet. I'm very happy with it. It's extremely solid, it's extremely comfortable, and very durable. The only downside really here with this bracelet is that you don't have any sort of micro adjusting, although the bracelet does come with 2 sets of half links. So I mentioned before that this watch is being powered by an ETA movement. Because this watch has the day-date function, It is of course powered by the ETA 2836-2, which is basically an ETA 2824, but with the day feature added. As we all know, the ETA 2824 and therefore also the ETA 2836 are extremely reliable movements. They're workhorses, as a lot of people say. They just work, they're very easy to service, they're cheap to service, and it's incredibly easy to find somebody that has the right education to service this movement. It of course, as I said before, features hacking and hand winding. It is wound in terms of the automatic rotor via a bidirectional rotor, which means it is quite a quiet movement. Not a whole lot of sound coming out of it, which is great. The watch beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour. It features 25 joules and a rather, I guess you could say, boring power reserve of 38 hours. Although I have tested this specific watch and it reaches more like 42. And as this movement is in a Tudor, it's of course the top grade version of the ETA movement, which means it's going to have the best shock protection. It means it's going to have the best hairspring, etc. for the best reliability and of course for the best performance that ETA can offer with this watch or with this movement. So the movement has been averaging out at about plus 2 to 3 seconds per day, which I am of course very happy with. I have no problems with that whatsoever. This is a very, very accurate watch. So let's pop it on the wrist and I'll show you how it wears on my 19.5 centimeter wrist. So here's the watch on my 19.5 centimeter wrist. I think it wears incredibly well on my wrist. This watch is supposed to be for me an everyday piece that I can wear every day. And so the size of it, the 39mm size in diameter, is fantastic for said piece. It's a great size. It doesn't look too big. It doesn't look too small for an everyday piece. And yeah, the bracelet is incredibly comfortable. It looks fantastic. The watch is quite thin, as you can see, which gives it this nice profile. And yeah, overall I am very happy with this watch. And so yeah, what do you guys think about this watch? Please feel free to tell me in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe if you're interested in more videos just like this one. And I'll see you in my next videos. Bye bye.